It's super important. Like, especially one of the last lines you should say, you're not supposed to get through everything gracefully. Because, like, again, on my own personal journey, I feel like if I don't do it 100% correct, I just completely shut down and just kind of log out of it because I see it as a failure. Like, people are going to judge me on that one little thing. Like, even though I'm talking to you, if I stutter, I'm like, scrap the whole episode. Just like, that's how my mind goes. If I don't say a sentence perfectly or I lose my word, like, my mind immediately goes into kind of self-defense attack mode. And it's like, you have to be perfect. Like, you can't flub your words. You can't stutter. You can't, say something wrong or do something incorrect. Just even my own inner critic, like, just based on society's standards and whatnot, I will beat myself to death about that. And I'm just like, how do you battle something? How do you deal with that right there? Just like that, just that own internal personal battle that, like, I know not just I experience, but a lot of people experience right there. When you are wired to try to be a perfectionist and then you do fail or you don't do something perfect, like, how do you battle that right there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure as you're talking, so many people are like, yes, I can completely relate to that. And it's really thinking about that inner critic, if you will. Like, there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust with that protected part of us that we're going to be able to recover. It's all about recovery, right? So it's about, we know if we really think logically, if we're entering, if we're doing something like we're, playing soccer or we're doing a sport or we're doing something where it's like, this is kind of based on mistakes and capitalizing on other people's mistakes. And we're not going to be perfect with everything. We know these things logically. Even going into a podcast, we're going to fumble on our words every now and again. Like, logically, we kind of know that. But I think it's the emotional part. It's the inner critic within us that really is doubting that we're going to be able to recover. That if we fumble on our words, if we don't get our point across perfectly, if we, fumble the ball, if we do X, Y, or Z that wasn't according to plan, that part of us is scared shitless that we are not going to be able to recover. And I think that's the part right there. It's not about executing perfectly. It's about knowing and believing and getting the repetitions in and the self-talk to acknowledge that I have the ability when I fumble, when I mess up, when I misstep, that I'm going to be able to recover. And that's resilience right there.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I actually have to do now. Right now, focus on my breath work. I'll take a deep breath and just like, it's not the end of the world. I have to repeat this kind of my internal mantras and things like that. It's like, not the end of the world. And also, when I do mess up and then I correct it, I just kind of have to validate myself. I kind of have to pat myself on the back and just like, good job. It's not the end of the world. That way, like, for future reference, I like, remember this happened and you conquered it or you got past it. It's just like, I have to have this internal dialogue with myself to validate myself, like you said, like get your reps in. The repetition has helped out a lot over my, my own personal growth and mental health journey. I feel like my therapist has helped me out with that a lot as well. Which leads me to my next question. What led you to becoming a psychotherapist?
Ooh, gosh, a number of things. But I think, my mom is a psychotherapist. So I kind of was watching her as I was growing up. She was kind of doing her final grad school years and her practicum. So I was watching my mother kind of go through all that as I was growing up. And I've just always been fascinated with people's stories. And I've felt like it's such a privilege when, you're able to create space for someone and they're able to externally process or be vulnerable or, really trust you to help them kind of figure out something, and just collaborate on something. So I've just been fascinated by that. And I also myself, I dealt with a lot of performance anxiety as an athlete. And really kind of, I just have a really soft spot for people, not only athletes, but people that they kind of are just entrapped in that black or white thinking, that all or nothing thinking, because it's pretty debilitating. And you have these big goals and you have these, you can get there, you've done it, you've proven it to yourself, but it's about that execution, whether it's on the field or in the boardroom or just even in conversations with people. So I also love the variety of it. Like, I love the variety that this field has already, I've had the privilege of like engaging in. So whether that's just private practice or working overseas or working with juvenile court or with educators or grief and loss, like, I just love the variety that it provides too. So it's been such an amazing journey so far.